Helen Gates, Executive Director of the Rye Arts Center. Irving Harper is a creative design genius who chose the Rye Arts Center to feature his private collection of paper sculptures, which he created over a span of 40 years in his private time. These intricate paper sculptures, of which we have 75 in our gallery, are being provided to us through the support of Maharam Textiles and Herman Miller, as well as the artistic and creative talents of curators Katharine Dufault and Jeff Taylor of Purchase College. These extraordinary works made their debut in September of 2014, and they will be here at the Art Center through January 24th, 2015.
We took a field trip to meet Mr. Harper.
Yeah, we were planning an exhibition in the spring called Edge of the Seat, which is about art based around chairs.
Irving was the designer behind the iconic piece of George Nelson furniture, the Marshmallow sofa. So on a field trip with the gallery committee, we went to his house in Rye to maybe see about an edition of that sofa. Upon entering his house, we were struck by the plethora of incredible artworks surrounding him, surrounding every surface, on every wall, pieces of fantastic whimsy, animals, creatures, masks, buildings, all sorts of incredible pieces, all made by him.
And I think we all had the same thought immediately.
This should be an exhibition.
Yes, we need to exhibit this.
Yeah.
It's a great material, paper. It's amazing what you could do with it.
Really?
I was born on July 14th, 1916, in Manhattan, in the Lower East Side. I lived there till I was, about 12 years old. Then we moved to Brooklyn. And I spent the rest of my ambition was to become an architect. And unfortunately, I went to school during the Depression, and when I got out, there were no jobs for architects. There was nobody was building anything, so architects were totally unemployed. I was led to the only activity that was on at the moment, which was the 1939 World's Fair. They needed designers. So I got a job with a designer called Morris Sanders, and I was grateful to have a job. My training became sort of varied. I was never a specialist in any one thing. Anything that came into the office, I was able to do.
My question.
Hey.
Like, how do you make that thing, like, out of paper and glue? It looks impossible, but that is maybe a little less impossible. That is impossible.
I just formed the ideas on the basis of what I had to work with. The material was paper. It had its limitations, and it also had its advantages. I worked with whatever ideas I came to mind within that limitation. Well, the tools are very simple. They're basically a single-edged razor blade, paper, and Elmer's glue.
Did you get surprised by your work sometimes, like it would become something that you didn't plan on? It would evolve into something else?
No. I had a picture in my own mind of what I wanted all the time, and that's what it was.
He's riffing on all of the stylistic periods of the 20th century, and he does them just about as well as anyone. He does Cubism, he does Surrealism, he does abstraction, whether that's abstract expressionism or hard edge abstraction, op art.
Little Dada with the hand.
Dada and
he's done tribalism.
Yeah, a lot of sort of non-Western art references.
That's a Picasso right there. The horse.
Yes.
Comes directly from a Guernica. The idea of a snake came because a snake itself is easily rendered in the medium that I was working in.
I wonder if that was done at the same time as the insect.
But you see, everything I do or many of the things I do, require the repetitive behavior, and then they build up to something else. And the reason I like the repetition is that I found it relieved stress, and it was very soothing. And it was very, but I'd have the radio turned on to WQXR, and it would be pleasant.
Now he can modulate the colors of an element like the wolf behind us, which appears to be a black background, but it's actually moving between brown and black and blue at the bottom.
Yes.
Did you go through periods where you were like, I'm only doing abstraction? Or did you just bounce between these different styles?
I never thought of it in terms of being an artist. I never envisioned myself as an artist. I just made them as they occurred to me, and then I went on to the next after it was all done, until I ran out of space, and I stopped.
They were things he made to
He's very casual about it, and he'd also invited you to wander around his house. Oh, go up to the upper floors, have a look, you know. He sits in this beautiful sun-filled living room surrounded by these sculptures, most of which are not in this exhibition because he doesn't like to live without his sculptures.
I told him I didn't want any of my things here to be moved out because I just didn't want to be left with an empty house. So I said, if you can find things upstairs out of my sight, you can display them.
But we brought down some pieces and we showed them to him. These were from the 3rd floor. And we said, well, what about these pieces? And
he also said, I don't even remember those pieces. I haven't seen those pieces in 30, 40 years. I can't remember making them. What else is up there?
we invited Mr. Harper to come and actually see the art center.
We picked him up one Saturday or Sunday. No one else was here. He had the gallery to himself. And we showed him the space, and he was impressed. And I think he liked the fact it was a community place in the heart of Rye, and he lives in Rye. And I remember driving him home. He said, "That place is top notch." And it was just, you know, it was lovely. I think he was sold.
A couple pieces rapidly expanded to, originally we thought 30,
We thought 30,
40.
and then I capped it at 50. I said, okay, 50 is the maximum. And it kept creeping up. And what you see here is over 70.
I'd never seen it all together at once, in one place. And I was really surprised that it really seemed to have a punch that I didn't envision when I made it.
I saw him after the exhibition, and he was just on fire. And he said, gosh, I thought maybe half a dozen people would show up. Well, there were almost 200 people. And, you know, everybody across the board found something about it that engaged them. They loved it, whether young, old, any background. I think it's immensely appealing.
I hadn't seen some of those pieces for years. Some of them were pretty good. And I was surprised at the quality. I said, my God. I was really taken aback by some of the stuff.
I have never, ever seen any artist who has such utter and total universal appeal, that everybody likes this stuff. Everybody loves this stuff.
Personally, I feel honored to have been part of this, to have been able to help bring this out of his house and to the community, and, you know, and to witness the pan appeal, if you will, of everybody to this work. Everybody reacts to it in a positive way.
I was sort of very glad to see it again. Something I'd lost, and suddenly it turned up, I found.